Soul Land 195 Original Novel DouLuo DaLu. Chapter 228. Oscar's Vulgar 7th Spirit Ability. TL by Bagelson. Tang San looked at his companions. Having finally passed the first trial, no matter how difficult the second, we should all properly rest a bit now. This year has been too exhausting. We'll rest for 3 days, adjust your conditions properly, we'll start cultivating again afterwards. For the next period of time, our main cultivation direction will change from spirit power to ability use and cooperation. After all, everyone's spirit power has increased substantially, and we also have some even more powerful spirit abilities. Everyone's seen the difficulty of the first trial, the second won't be any easier. We need to not only grasp our own abilities, but also our comrades'. Only by improving our teamwork as far as possible will we have better certainty for the second trial. Daimyo Bai nodded. I have no objections, let's do it like that. We can finally relax a bit. Haha. Rest, come, Zuking, we'll find somewhere to sleep a while. Zhu Zuking shot him an angry glare, her whole face flushed red. Before Oscar had opened his mouth, Ning Rongrong was already glaring unhappily at him, and he could only swallow back what he had been about to say. Just as everyone were preparing to disband to rest, Fatty suddenly leapt up. Hang on, don't rest yet. Big brothers, big sister, little sisters, you have to stand witness for your brother. While speaking, he turned to Bai Chenxiang, his face all smiles, only small cracks left behind by the fat crowding in his eyes. Bai Chenxiang looked at him mystified. Damn Fatty, what are you on about? Ma Hongjun's smile instantly froze, his little eyes opening wide once again. Damn, did you forget what you said when third brother passed the first test? Everyone then understood Fatty's meaning. Bai Chenxiang said that if Tang San safely passed the first test, she would give Fatty a chance. The others had forgotten about it, but how could Fatty forget? Bai Chenxiang then reacted, so Fatty was thinking about that. Feeling everyone's eyes gather on her, she confidently said. I said it. Third brother passed the first trial sagely, I will give you a chance. I'm giving you a chance now. Whether you can move me depends on your own skill. Fatty looked distracted a moment. He discovered that Bai Chenxiang's promise wasn't all that advantageous to him, and mumbled. It's not accept me. Just giving me a chance. Bai Chenxiang giggled, sticking her tongue out at him. Giving you a chance is pretty good already, you don't know how to be content. Ning Rongrong chimed in. Yeah, Fatty, for you to chase after Xiang, the most important thing is to lose weight first. Look at you, fat all over. As it happens, right now we don't have any supply chain. Work hard to lower your weight. Fatty said indignantly. Aren't I just a bit meaty? Fine. I'll lose weight. Xiang, you have to give me the chance. For the next 3 whole days, none of the Shrek 7 devils cultivated again. Their minds were already close to collapse from the long time under strain, and 3 days to relax was absolutely necessary. According to Tang San's proposal, they wouldn't lightly charge at the second trial before Oscar and Ma Hongjun had reached the 70th rank. After 3 days had passed, everyone began a new round of cultivation. Without the pressure of the sea god's light, their cultivation speed of course dropped substantially, and even more so when they had all already achieved quite formidable strength. Even each rank they promoted became extremely difficult. Especially Tang San, who had already reached rank 76, clearly felt that even though his spirit power promotion speed wasn't slow while he cultivated, the distance to the next pass was still indefinitely far away. He didn't know when he could reach the 77th rank. Even if Oscar played around every day, he was undoubtedly the most diligent out of everyone. No matter how many years had passed, he would never forget his promise to Ning Rongrong back then. He would rely on his own strength to protect his beloved. The clone mirror sausage undoubtedly gave him this capability, but it was still far from enough. Everything Tang San said had roused him a great deal. A food system spirit master able to cultivate to the 70th rank was as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns in the spirit master world. But it was also because of the difficulty in cultivating that, after reaching the 70th rank, a food system spirit master's ability would undergo a qualitative leap. This could already be seen in Ning Rongrong's 9 treasure avatar, that was able to reduce all spirit power expenditure by 50%. If his own 7th spirit ability could also cause a similar effect, then not only could the boost for his comrades continue for longer, his own use of the clone mirror sausage would also be extended. Then he could naturally protect his beloved even better, and help his comrades pass the next trials. Consequently, after the 3 days were over, Oscar immediately took the initiative to throw himself into cultivation, not cultivating any less than when they were in the sea god's light before. Fatty saw Oscar was like this, and naturally couldn't easily embarrass himself by relaxing either. Having with great effort almost caught up to everyone in spirit power, he couldn't let himself off now. However, their effort in this also somewhat ruined Tang San's original plans. Losing Fatty and Oscar to join in, everyone naturally lacked something in teamwork training. However, they also understood Fatty and Oscar's anxiety to attack the 70th rank. Tang San, Dai Mubai, Zhu Zuqing and Ning Rongrong trained by themselves. In the end, the combined strength of the 4 of them was already quite frightful. Ning Rongrong still mainly trained her heart separation control ability. Over these years of effort her heart separation control had constantly risen from the original 3-aperture governing heart, to successively reach the realm of 4-aperture constant heart, and 5-aperture scattered heart. The further ahead this heart separation control ability was, the more difficult it was to cultivate, no easier than a created spirit ability. At present Ning Rongrong's goal was to cultivate to the 6-aperture wishful heart. Even though her current spirit power wasn't inferior to that of her father, there was still a considerable gap to Ning Fengzi in ability application and control. In fact, Ning Fengzi's heart separation control ability was already cultivated to the peak 7-aperture detailed heart, controlling all of his boosts as easily as moving a finger. Ning Rongrong still needed a very long time and effort to match up to her father in skill use maturity. Tang San currently couldn't even use spirit abilities, he could only use his most basic skills and spirit bone abilities to train with everyone. Even though he was unable to employ spirit abilities, Tang San's self-made spirit abilities could be said to be more and more numerous, whether Tang Sek's controlling crane catching dragon, Tang Sect hidden weapons or clear sky hammer method, they were all quite formidable abilities, and further adding his spirit bone abilities, he was currently far more powerful than ordinary spirit sages, even without Blue Silver Emperor spirit abilities. Tang San had complete confidence that, as long as his spirit abilities were restored, he would absolutely have the strength to fight an ordinary title DouLuo. 2 100,000-year spirit rings and 200,000-year spirit bones weren't a joking matter. Even more when he also had that constantly evolving external spirit bone, 8 spider lances. And Dai Mubai and Zhu Zuqing's leap in strength wasn't any less than Tang San's. This of course wasn't in terms of their own spirit power promotion, but rather in their frightening spirit fusion ability. When both their strength reached the spirit avatar level, the spirit fusion ability Hell White Tiger naturally also advanced another level. Tang San reached the conclusion that, even if he was in his strongest condition with full access to all his spirit abilities, it was still impossible for him to fight the Hell White Tiger head-on. This showed what kind of level this spirit fusion ability had already reached. The strength of such a team was naturally extremely astonishing, especially when the Hell White Tiger received the support of the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda. Tang San was sure that even a 95th ranked power would find it very difficult to confront it head-on. Only, even though the burst strength of the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda amplified Hell White Tiger was formidable, it still consumed Ning Rongrong's spirit power at a frightening rate. Even when using 9 treasure avatar, she could still only keep it up for 30 seconds. After entering the spirit avatar realm, the Hell White Tiger's might really was too terrifying. Time passed day by day. Even if the ring sea surrounded them was covered with a feeling of mortal danger, none of them was affected at all, spending every day on all kinds of cultivation exercises. Their trip to Sea God Island was originally a rare cultivation journey for the Shrek 7 Devils. Everyone gathering together to compare notes with each other, to boost each other, was far faster than cultivating individually. As for the question of meals, even though it was a bit painful to everyone, that still wasn't any major issue. The food system spirit master Oscar was here. Let alone 8 people, with his current spirit power, he could have easily dealt with it even if there were 800. He could almost instantly produce more than 1,000 of his big recovery sausages. Further adding Tang San using the blue-silver domain to search Sea God Mountain for edible plants and fruits, eating their fill was easily managed. Oscar's spirit power had after all always been ahead of Ma Hongjun in the past, and having previously gotten 1 rank from passing the test, his distance to promoting originally wasn't far. Consequently, 3 months later he took the lead to break into the realm of the 70th rank. Sea God DouLuo Bosixi naturally also descended once again. Seeing the honorable Sea God DouLuo arrive, Oscar couldn't hold back a burst of intense excitement at the corners of his eyes, madly roaring within his heart. 70th rank, I've also reached the 70th rank. Who said food system spirit masters can't be formidable? I'm 24 this year, but I've already reached the spirit sage level. Wrong, don't worry, hereafter I will definitely have the ability to protect you. Bo Sixi smiled slightly, and, apart from Xiao Wu, the Shrek 7 devils received their final god-bestowed spirit ring. Enveloped in golden light, as the scar-faced Oscar sat, he unexpectedly gave off a kind of extremely resolute feeling. And Oscar also used his own actions to prove to everyone that, even if he really wasn't a battle-type spirit master, he still had a resolute will that wasn't inferior to anyone. The time he persisted in the god-bestowed spirit ring trial was longer than for Zhu Zuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Ma Hongzhen. As Ning Rongrong saw the appearance of Oscar seemingly about to collapse at any moment within the golden light, her tears fell uncontrollably. She understood that Oscar being this persistent, this dedicated, was all for her. As a food system spirit master, originally it should have been enough for him to simply be protected by his comrades. But for her, as the 7 treasure glazed tile school heir, he had to endure far too much more than ordinary food system spirit masters. In the whole process of absorbing the god-bestowed spirit ring, Oscar spent a full day's time. Even if it wasn't as enormous an attack as when Tang San absorbed the 100,000-year spirit ring, the pressure he endured was still quite frightening. After finishing the absorption, he still spent a full 3 days before he had completely recovered. Ning Rongrong stayed on guard by his side throughout these 3 days, not moving half a step away from him. The feeling of being without sunlight really was very uncomfortable. Without the warm nourishment of sunlight, moods would very easily be constrained. Ever since the start of the second trial, the Shrek 7 devils hadn't seen the sunlight again. The sky was always covered densely with clouds, and the waters of the Ring Sea never stopped churning. With difficulty swallowing Oscar's sausage, even someone with as fearsome a will as Tang San couldn't help frowning. Ask yourself, how would eating the exact same sausage for every meal every day taste? Only Oscar himself ate with relish, not showing any signs of growing sick of it. I say, little Ao, you've already had the 7th spirit ability for more than half a month. Why don't you give us a demonstration of its power? While Daimyo Bai bitterly chewed a large recovery sausage, he spoke to Oscar. Hearing this, Oscar's face instantly changed, and he raised his head to look at the sky. The weather is pretty good today. Fatty walked over from the side. Your face is pretty good, don't change the subject. You've been the same ever since you got the 7th spirit ring, you won't say anything no matter how I ask. You even keep it secret from your own brothers. Don't tell me, your 7th spirit ability isn't strong enough? Don't worry, nobody will make fun of you. Lacking a bit is just lacking a bit. Oscar glared unhappily at Fatty. Your face is lacking, would my 7th spirit ability be lacking? That effect would scare you to death. Humph. Ma Hongzhen said with schadenfreude. Then whip it out for everyone to see. So many days, and you haven't even told Wrong. There's definitely a problem with your spirit ability. Haha, my guess is, think about it, third brother's spirit avatar transforms into the blue-silver emperor, and he turns completely golden blue, practically like a part of the blue-silver emperor. Boss Dai's spirit avatar transforms him into the white tiger, and Zuqing transforms into a hell civet. With your sausage spirit, don't tell me, your 7th spirit ability turns you into a giant sausage. Oscar's face stiffened. Damned Fatty, get lost, I'm not telling you. You think I'm as vulgar as you. Ma Hongzhen didn't get a bit angry, imitating Oscar's voice and shouting. Your father, have a big sausage, I don't know who has a spirit incantation like that. I'm vulgar? In vulgarity, nobody can compete with you. Hearing Fatty's analysis, Ning Rongrong holding Oscar's big hand also went a bit rigid, looking at Oscar, she said in a low voice. Damned little Ao, Fatty wouldn't have guessed right? Does your 7th spirit ring really turn you into a giant sausage? No, don't listen to his drivel. Oscar hastily reassured. Ning Rongrong said curiously. Then what is it? You won't even tell me. Even an ugly wife has to see her parents-in-law. Everyone has to work together in the future, don't tell me you can keep not using the important 7th spirit ability. Everyone will know about it sooner or later. Oscar looked at Fatty's expression of schadenfreude, then again at the curious gazes of the others, and collapsed. Fine, I'll say it. Firmaments. Mother Earth. Revered Lord Sea God. Why do you play with me like this? Let me die. Rumble, as if in response to Oscar's words, a thunderclap resounded in the sky, frightening Oscar to hurriedly shut up, not daring to keep whining. Even Tang San couldn't help saying. Little Ao, don't tell me your 7th spirit ability really is related to transforming you into a sausage. Oscar stood, his face indignant. Even if it isn't turning into a sausage, it's still not much stronger. Don't say anything for now, I'll use my 7th spirit ability. You're not allowed to laugh, or we'll be enemies. Fatty standing in front of him immediately curbed his smile. No problem, we absolutely won't laugh. Hurry up and show it. Oscar looked somewhat unreassured at everyone. They nodded one after another, but there was already a trace of mirth rippling through their eyes. Just as Oscar was preparing to start, he was interrupted by Ning Rongrong. Hold on. She quickly stood and ran over to Xiao Wu, pulling her into her arms before looking at Oscar, clearly looking for mental consolation. Oscar fiercely clenched his teeth. Just as Ning Rongrong said, everyone would know sooner or later, it would be better if they knew in advance. If by some chance they lost control when he used his 7th spirit ability in the middle of a fight, wouldn't that become a major mistake? Thinking of this, he finally no longer hesitated, releasing his 7th spirit ability. Oscar widened his stance, crouching somewhat. Then drawing a deep breath, he stretched both arms straight out in front of his chest with fists tightened, palms down. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 7 ideal spirit rings quietly appeared around him. His spirit was already released. It would seem that nothing was currently any different with Oscar, so much so that his expression even had a somewhat hallowed feeling. But the whole next spirit ability release process left his watching companions with eyes wide and mouths hanging open. Suddenly withdrawing his level extended arms, both his fists also subsequently turned over to palms up, and gathered at his waist. At the same time as he withdrew his arms, he also made a vulgar back straightening motion. Firm and erect, gold fly 1. He made the first fist pumping and back straightening motion with each shout of firm and erect. When he shouted gold fly, he pulled his left fist back to his waist, but his right arm rose outstretched, right hand clenched in a fist, only one middle finger raised towards the heavens. Seeing Oscar's appearance, everyone finally understood why he always dawdled without letting them see his 7th spirit ability. If they had to describe this incantation in words, then they would say that there was no most vulgar, only more vulgar. Ning Rongrong directly fell into the arms of the vacant Xiao Wu. The others all had extremely grotesque expressions. Their facial muscles all twitched, trying to hold back their laughter, but not quite succeeding. A speck of golden light brightened at the tip of Oscar's outstretched middle finger, and his 7th spirit ring subsequently flashed. In that moment, that golden light instantly spread to cover Oscar's whole body, then again withdrew to the tip of his middle finger, gradually taking shape. A soybean-sized gold fly appeared there on the tip of his finger, and the golden light around Oscar also subsequently disappeared. SNRKT. The first who couldn't help laughing was Ma Heng-jun, and immediately it was like a contagion. Besides Ning Rongrong who hid in Xiao Wu's chest out of embarrassment and Xiao Wu herself, the others couldn't help bursting into laughter. Fuck me, too vulgar. It really is too vulgar. Gold fly. Even the gold fly appeared, and firm and erect. I can't take it. The ones laughing most violently were Ma Heng-jun and Dai Mubai, because, among everyone, besides Oscar himself, only the two of them knew what firm and erect gold fly really was. You said you wouldn't laugh, I'm gonna strangle you. Oscar held the gold fly, and directly threw it towards Ma Heng-jun. Ma Heng-jun immediately turned and ran, his laughter showing no signs of stopping. Tang San also laughed, only he was laughing because of Oscar's vulgar motions, and now he couldn't help asking Dai Mubai. Boss, what's that gold fly thing? How come I've never heard of it? Dai Mubai grinned. Of course a virgin like you wouldn't have heard of it. That's something good. Didn't you hear little Ao yelling, firm and erect, always firm and erect? That's a good thing for a man. It seems you're very proud of not being a virgin. In his unabating excitement, Dai Mubai was somewhat beside himself with mirth and had forgotten Zhu Zuqing was standing right next to him. His ear smarted, grabbed firmly by Zhu Zuqing, who glared at him with an ill-intentioned gaze. Speak, what is that firm and erect gold fly thing? Dai Mubai swallowed. I'm not familiar with it. Not familiar. Fatty is, ask him. Ma Heng-jun was just running in their direction, and hearing what Dai Mubai said, he couldn't help cursing. Boss Dai, aren't we brothers? How am I familiar? I'm not familiar either, heard about it, I've just heard about it. Tang San looked distracted a moment. Just what thing is it? Dai Mubai laughed quietly. Aphrodisiac, didn't you hear? It's a good thing that can let a man remain firm and erect. I'm dying from laughter, Oscar, that guy, his 7th spirit ability actually produces something like that, no wonder he wouldn't let us know. And having to shout that spirit incantation out loud, I wonder, if his future father-in-law heard him, would he still let Rong marry him? Tang San's expression froze a bit. Aphrodisiac. Even if he was a virgin, as a researcher of medicine, of course it was impossible for him not to know about aphrodisiacs. Oscar had already stopped running, looking at everyone with a resentful expression. You can't keep your word. Fine, afterwards don't hope for me to make gold flies for you to eat. Dai Mubai burst into laughter. Don't, we wouldn't eat it if you gave it to us. Little Ao, your fame as the big sausage uncle really follows merit. Not just all kinds of sausages, now you even have a gold fly to keep them firm and erect. Pretty good, this spirit ability for spirit avatar is quite sensible. Oscar's face visibly changed from red to purple, with the appearance of being about to explode at any moment. Tang San hastily mediated. Little Ao, explain the function of your 7th spirit ring. Even if the appearance is a bit strange, as a food-type spirit avatar it definitely isn't ordinary. Hearing Tang San say this, Oscar's expression eased a bit, and he said proudly. At least little San knows what's what. Of course this is a good thing. 7th spirit ability, firm and erect gold fly. It has 2 effects, if I eat it, my sausage making speed will increase by 30%, and the effects of all sausages will increase 30%. If it's eaten by others, then the power of the next spirit ability they use will increase by 50%. The smiles on everyone's faces instantly turned to astonishment as they heard Oscar's explanation, looking at each other. Because they discovered that the effects of the mere food system Spirit Master Oscar's 7th spirit ability, observed overall, actually wasn't inferior to Ning Rongrong's 7th spirit ability 9 treasure avatar in any respect. Oscar's sausage-making speed could be well imagined after he had reached the 70th ranked, especially the first 4 spirit abilities could be produced practically with the speed of the spirit incantation. He could even casually produce several in one go. Even the 5th spirit ability could be produced as fast as he could read the spirit incantation. But under the effect of the firm and erect gold fly his sausage-making speed increased another 30%, this undoubtedly boosted everyone's supply speed once again. Let alone the 7 of them, even with a team of 100, Oscar could completely maintain the boost of the first 5 spirit abilities. Even more so when that firm and erect gold fly could increase the sausage effect by 30%. It was an absolute qualitative leap in overall boost capability from before. Of course, what drew even more of their attention was that, if they ate this gold fly, then the next spirit ability they used would be 50% more powerful. This was a terrifying effect. Simply put, if Dai Mubai and Zhu Zuqing ate one of Oscar's firm and erect gold flies simultaneously, and then used their Hell White Tiger, plus Ning Rongrong's 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda boost, then for 30 seconds, even 97th rank sword DouLuo Chen Xin wouldn't hold an advantage. And confronting lower level opponents they could even instantly kill them. At this moment everyone deeply understood why Tang San would speak of the importance of food system spirit masters who had reached the 70th rank, why he would wait for Oscar to reach the spirit sage level before attempting the second trial. Seeing everyone's amazed expressions, Oscar was immensely pleased with himself. Admire me. GE's 7th spirit ability is fierce. What if it's a bit vulgar? It's fine if it's powerful. Moreover, if my clone mirror sausage is produced under the effects of the firm and erect gold fly, its duration will increase to 10 minutes. If you eat it, the clone mirror sausage's effect will reach 90%, and if I eat it, it will go straight to 100%. In other words, if I use Little San's blood to produce clone mirror sausages, then for 10 minutes, I can use all of Little San's abilities, besides spirit bones and domains. As long as I learn to use them from Little San, maybe I can become a battle spirit master in the future too. Ha 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 ha. Even though Oscar's self-satisfied face looked in need of a spanking, the astonishing facts he announced left everyone stunned. 100% clone ability for 10 minutes. To Oscar, this was absolutely a leap in strength. And the clone mirror sausage he produced could let everyone use 90% of the other's abilities. There was no need to doubt the overall boost in strength for the whole team. Ning Rongrong had now also raised her head from Xiao Wu's chest, and looked very helplessly at Oscar's immensely proud appearance. But very soon her face returned to normal. Standing, she walked straight towards Oscar. Seeing Ning Rongrong approach, Oscar showed off the gold fly in his palm, holding it up to Ning Rongrong. Rongrong, look, such a beautiful gold fly. This is the first 7th spirit ability I made, it's for you. It represents that you are my only one. Don't worry, my 7th spirit ability also has the biggest advantage, to never lose effectiveness. As long as I produce it, it will exist always, until it's used. Ning Rongrong took the gold fly Oscar handed over without batting an eye, her charming face even showing a trace of a smile. Hey, little Ao, that you didn't want to use the 7th spirit ability in front of us before, besides the spirit incantation being vulgar, isn't it because you also know exactly what use a thing like the firm and erect gold fly is? Even if Oscar was a bit complacent at the moment, he still wouldn't go so far as to completely forget himself. Seeing the ill intent in Ning Rongrong's smile, he hastily withdrew his own smile and assumed an expression of righteousness, denying it flatly. I don't, of course I don't. What is the firm and erect gold fly? How come I've never heard of it? What is that thing? Ning Rongrong smiled coldly at him. Keep acting. Give me a proper explanation of just who used that firm and erect gold fly in the past. My darling Rongrong, absolutely don't listen to slanderous rumors. I'm so proper, as clear as ice and clean as jade, how could I do something like this? When you met me I was 14, and I wasn't as precocious as Boss Dai. How could I know what something like the firm and erect gold fly is? Fuck me, little Ao, if you're explaining to Rongrong then explain, but how is that related to me? I can't take it. Calling me precocious? When I knew you at 12, you already had a full beard. I wonder who's more precocious. Didn't you always show off to me, talking about how big your sausage was? That you long since walked among 10,000 flowers. When Oscar heard this he immediately stomped his foot. I walked among 10,000 flowers? That still can't compare to your 1,000 beheadings. You're the famous unrivaled playboy Dai Mubai, how could I compare to you? Seeing the two of them mutually expose each other, Tang San was speechless. And right now Fatty showed his intelligence, absolutely not getting involved and quietly retreating next to Bai Chen Xiang, putting on an abhorred expression to firmly show that he wasn't related to these two fellows, absolutely not the same type. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zuqing didn't speak, only watching their men with cold smiles, listening to their mutual disclosure. Cough, cough, we should cultivate. Fortunately Tang San was comparatively generous. He didn't want for there to be internal disorder among the 7 devils, and interrupted them before Dai Mubai and Oscar could expose any substantial gossip. Oscar and Dai Mubai weren't idiots either and, sensing the gazes like ice-cold daggers next to them, immediately came to their senses. With a glance, they exchanged a signal. Being brothers for so many years, they immediately showed their perfect cooperation. Dai Mubai sighed once. Little San is right, we still have to cultivate. Little Ao, it was my fault just now, I shouldn't have fabricated rumors. We're brothers, we can't influence our brotherly affection. I apologize. Oscar hastily put on an apologetic expression. Boss Dai, it was my fault too. Actually, back then even if you drew the affection of a lot of girls, it was still passing among 10,000 flowers without touching. Because there was only one person in your pure mind. Didn't you say that, for her, you wouldn't even hesitate to give up your life? Even if you couldn't pass your family's test, you would rather die on your own and spare her. As long as she was happy, you would do anything. Dai Mubai gazed with deep emotion at Zhu Zuqing next to him, saying. Yes. Ever since we were small, there has only ever been one person in my heart. Aren't you also the same? For your beloved you experienced a lot of difficulties, obtaining the power to protect her. You even ruined your appearance for this. Compared to you, I'm still lacking. Tang San, Ma Hongjun and Bai Chen Xiang looked dumbstruck at this transformation from hostility to brothers at the flip of a page, and Ma Hongjun couldn't hold back, muttering to himself. I can't keep watching, I really can't keep watching. These two guys are too wretched. One gold fly, most likely referring to a preparation of dried and ground Spanish fly beetles. NSFW, http://www.SpanishGoldfly.com, honestly for sex pill LMAO. It finish here. Thanks and thumbs up. Love and peace.